Story time. Before we begin today's stream, I want to share a story about this shirt. This shirt is the final step in a long series of technical hurdles we've been overcoming, and it has some nostalgia. So just now on this live broadcast, the streaming computer crashed. I had to reboot it. I had to update OBS. It's a new version of OBS, which broke all my plugins. So then I had to update the OBS on this computer to make sure I could communicate with that computer, reinstall all the plugins. And it worked. And then I sit down, and the camera you're seeing me on, it has a white balance setting. And because I was wearing a white shirt, it kind of made everything look dark. Look at how beautiful and lit my face is. I couldn't have a darkened, hollow gaze. I needed to change into a dark-colored shirt before I went live. I'm wearing it now, and boy, do I look sunny. But this shirt has some extraordinary sentimental value because this shirt is 17 years old. This shirt is from the 2005 U.S. Championship at the World Cyber Games that I won. Just saying. I was the champion with the Zerg pieces. And this shirt, my family got around 20 of them. And I'd like to tell you why. If you ever go back and watch the My Life of StarCraft video that I did in 2010, which was 12 years ago, I talk about that tournament. It was the North American Championship. 16 players qualified, and I believe there were 16 qualifiers spread across the country. So I believe I won the one in St. Louis or Chicago. It was, I get the years a little fuzzy. My brother drove down to Texas and won down there. And so we got paired against each other first round. It was terrible. It was a really just nasty feeling because it's a single elimination bracket. It's a best of three. Whoever wins advances on. Whoever loses, out of the tournament. Now, at that era, esports was not really very robust. You have huge stadiums sold out with just the game as the main draw. But this is in 2005. YouTube, I don't even think was invented at that point in time. They may have been in beta or something, but there was just no real way to even go to an esports viewing location online or a party without just a whole lot of hurdles and planning. So the way a lot of early esports tournaments functioned is that they would have some sort of event like, take Gamescom or the, I'll use Gamescom in Germany as a really good example, where Intel wants to have a booth at Gamescom to share its processors and stuff like that. So esports organizations like ESL would go to Intel and say, we will put on a tournament on the stage that you're just having at this large convention, and this will draw people to the booth because it's a destination event, which gives you a lot of foot traffic, thereby helping justify the cost of spending money on it at a convention. And lots of things worked this way, where the sale of hardware or electronics or general other consumer products was the main thing, and then somewhere in there, thunk, there would be an esports event tacked onto one of those things. And this was the way to be able to actually run a profitable business on the esports era. So this was one of the first major tournaments, World Cyber Games. And the North American Finals kind of had a little bit of a similar feel to this kind of thing, where there was the whole notion of, we're here to promote products and talk about products, and it's more about consumer entertainment than the esports stuff that's kind of tucked away on the side. And so a lot of these events have a stage where they do the showcasing of the products that occasionally has the games on them, but not that frequently. So I went to tons of tournaments as a kid where you would be cordoned off in a tiny little LAN area with 8 computers, and you would play the tournament right there, and all the fans, like all 12 of them, would be leaning over and just kind of watching games from behind the player's PC, and then maybe the finals would be on this stage, and that was that. So I had to play my brother first round in this event, and I wound up winning, which was very painful and bittersweet. And so Nick then went to work at the commentary booth because he just went up to the people there who were doing StarCraft commentary and were like, dude, let me just join you. You don't have to pay me. I just want to do this game justice. And that's what started his commentary career. And he still casts GSL and he's the best. So while this was going on, they had this huge stage, as I was saying before, where they were doing giveaways for digital cameras before phones replaced that. They're doing various giveaways for all the sorts of sponsors and products and stuff like this that were at this event. And the way it would work is they'd get some guy with a microphone who'd be like, all right, gamers, it's time for a trivia challenge. I need 5 volunteers or 3 volunteers or however many. And all the nerds would be like, oh my God, me. And then you had to simply answer that question. And whoever won got a digital camera. So, because the Warcraft 3 players had all their matches and the StarCraft players didn't, get 5 StarCraft players up there. All right, gamers. What country is the famous professional gamer Boxer from? And before you can get the second syllable out of Boxer out, everyone's just like, South Korea! South Korea! Nick didn't win. Someone else won. And you know what everyone else got? One of these t-shirts. One of these t-shirts. Damn it. Don't worry, guys. We'll be doing another competition giveaway soon. So my brother, who was didn't have any more tournament play to do, and the commentary was, again, very sporadic because there was one commentary booth for all 8 titles. So Nick just started to do every single one of these. I need 3 volunteers. Nick was like, oh my God. And like, it started to be this fucking joke that all the StarCraft guys, like, again, there's only 16 players. So like the 10 that had been knocked out while the other ones were waiting on the semifinals or had left, were just all there doing push-up competitions, trying to answer trivia about games they'd never heard of, weird consumer electronics questions, like, what is the name of Sony's new digital camera? Like, weird stuff. And Nick went to like 20 of these in a row. And I mean, like half of them, clearly they only prepared like 6 questions. Because that guy with the mic would just make people do push-up competitions. Whoever does the most push-ups. And I mean, like, my brother must have done 600 push-ups on this day. And there was always some jock who was there who was just, like, doing the push-ups. Would, like, do a one-handed push-up and look over at Nick and laugh, being like, this guy's so weak. Nick was on, like, the multi-hundredth push-up at that point in time, and he was still going to try to get a digital camera. And so it was the final day, and Nick still hadn't won this thing. And all the StarCraft players were just sitting there like little feral animals waiting for the next time to be called. The guy goes, all right, we need some. And Nick and like all the StarCraft guys like swarm up. Nick didn't, I think, even get picked. He just walked onto the stage. And he goes, all right, gamers. We're going to do a trivia challenge. Whoever gets this right wins a digital camera. Now, what country? And Nick goes, South Korea. And the guy goes, yeah. And he just falls to his knees and he like reaches to take this digital camera that he's won because they looped over to the first question. And his arms just shaking because he's done so many fucking push-ups in such a short period of time. And these t-shirts, we just went home with like 40 of them. And so this is the last one that I own. And it's actually just hanging in my closet. I try to just rarely ever use it. This is really sturdy. It's a 17-year-old t-shirt, and we're wearing it today as a little bit of a celebration. It's a nice memory of a great event. Let's play some video games, huh?